No matter if points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show starts now.
Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. For all those joining us live on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show. With Dave Manouk, I'm your host, Drew Mandel, here to discuss tonight's Winnipeg Jets defeat at the hands of the defending Stanley Cup champion Vegas Golden Knights. The Golden Knights pull off a 5-3 hard-fought victory over the Winnipeg Jets tonight. The Jets scrap back from being down 2 goals starting the third period, but it is all for naught, Mr. Manouk, once again demonstrating how it is a very thin line between success and failure for this Winnipeg Jets team. Alas, it is a loss column, a notch in the loss column, as the team falls to 1-3 so far early in this 23-24 season. Nice to see you on this Thursday evening.
Nice to see you too, Drew. I didn't want you to start the show because I was looking for the panic button. I was trying to figure out where exactly it was. I couldn't locate it, so I will not be hitting it. And I don't think they need to hit it. I think the fact is that the Jets played a pretty good look. Vegas was missing some of their defensemen. They've obviously got some. I think they're missing 3 of their guys right now, so they've got some absences from their Stanley Cup lineup that we were used to seeing, but they still got some pretty damn good players. And I thought the Jets played pretty well with them for the most part throughout the course of this game, which of course we'll get into. But I understand that people are saying it's not about moral victories at this point, and you want to see the Jets kind of come together. But remember, this Jets team was firing on all cylinders, and then pooped the bed come January, February, and barely made the playoffs. So perhaps if they're working those gremlins out right now, they may have it they might be in a better position to not be trying to make up the ground that they did when they lost it come January, February, March. So again, like I said, I'm not going to write it off and say there were a lot of mistakes in this game. We're going to get into them, but I think that they played pretty well against a team. Remember, like, people have to remember, Vegas came in 4-0. They were undefeated. They hadn't lost the game. The goal differential was 10. They are a pretty damn good hockey team. And Logan Thompson was a big reason why Vegas won this hockey game. So you've got to give that team credit. I mean, it's not as if the Jets were playing the worst team in the NHL and they didn't show up. So let's keep it in perspective before everybody loses their minds.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, look, the defeat is disheartening, and I understand that. And falling to 1-3 on the season is not where you want to be, and I understand that as well. And I understand that people are upset with it. But I thought this Jets team showed a pretty good level of heart, particularly in that third period, coming out the way that they did. Down 3-1 to start the third period. I'd be a lot more concerned right now if the Jets team had just rolled over, but they didn't. They had a very, very strong third period by and large, especially the first 10 minutes of that period, and they fought all the way back. And I think that's a good sign. Had this ended up being another 5-1 game or a 4-1 game and the Jets had been lethargic in the third period, then I would have said, okay, something might be rotten here. Something might be of concern, but they didn't. And yes, I mean these are moral victories and these are silver linings. And ultimately, it doesn't matter until you end up putting some points on the board. And as we see it on the board right there already, it says Brad Gerbison. He's saying, I've had enough moral victories for one season. And I totally understand that perspective. I get where Brad is coming from, but I thought the Jets played a pretty decent game. And they, it's almost a good benchmark for them to understand that, the Jets, to beat a team like the Vegas Golden Knights, can't just be pretty decent. The Golden Knights are a head taller, a head better than the Winnipeg Jets. And so this is a good reminder for the Jets and can be used as maybe a lesson and a building block as to how they need to play against the upper echelon of the NHL, because they're not there. They can't rest on any laurels. They can't think that they are at that level, because they're not. The Vegas Golden Knights are still the defending Stanley Cup champion until anyone takes the crown from them. And right now, nobody is taking the crown from them. They're rolling to start the year, undefeated to start the season, 5-0. But from the Jets' perspective, particularly in the third period, and really overall for a lot of the game, the Jets were in the fight, and they were competitive, and that, I think, is a little bit of solace that can be taken out of tonight's contest. Now, that solace isn't something that they can rest their laurels on, and isn't something that is going to be unlimited. They have to find a way to get points and to get a victory, and that means going into Edmonton on Saturday night, which we'll talk about in length on Saturday morning's Illegal Curve Hockey Show, and finding a way to get 2 points in Edmonton, or finding a way at least to get 1 point when they head back out on the road in Edmonton. Because 1-4, this league doesn't allow you any time to.
By the way, the Oilers also lost tonight 4-1 to the Flyers, so I think they're 1-3 to start their season.
They haven't been playing very well either. So you have two teams that really are, the Oilers, who have cup aspirations, have really struggled to start the year. We all remember what happened last Wednesday when they got absolutely shellacked at home by the Canucks. So they're struggling. And you have a Jets team that is still trying to, I'd say, find their legs underneath them. But for the most part, if you went, through the first, 4 games that the Jets have played this year, the only one that you're really, really concerned about is the one against LA. That's the one that's been the most atrocious stinker, most horrendous game, oh man, there are problems associated with this team.
Right.
Lots of warts still on this Jets team. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sugarcoating that. They give up too many goals. The special teams haven't been good enough. The penalty kill was lousy again tonight. But they've been showing some decent fight that I think is an important sign for a team as they're trying to sort of get their sea legs under them to start the year.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about it. And again, like I said, we saw the Jets get off to a hot start last season, and it didn't help them in, like I said, January, March, and April. And folks are gonna jump on this team and talk about the defense, and I think they're right to do so. I mean, Logan Stanley, I just thought the defense, I'm not even just going to highlight Logan Stanley, because I think there were a number of players who just were not able to get the puck quickly to, I mean, can you imagine Ville Heinola? They're like, get well soon. We want you to get well, because it was so slow. And the pucks were so many pucks. To be honest with you, it felt like I was watching AHL hockey, because the pucks were behind. Nothing was leading. Everybody was stopping, but all the momentum in the game was stopping because the defensemen were not getting the passes up to the forwards in the manner in which you're used to seeing. So as a result, a lot of the momentum for the Jets in the first 2 periods specifically, obviously they got rolling in that third when they're down to Vegas, and they know they need to take it to them. And that's where you saw, obviously, the Jets really start to pour it on and play a little bit more crisply. But yeah, I mean, there's no question about it that a guy like Declan Chisholm, who can make a hell of a good first pass, it could be a good asset, a good guy to bring into the lineup in terms of his skating is probably
we talked
the
about
best of all the defensemen, with the exception maybe Josh Morrissey.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got a guy who can skate, who can make a good pass. His defense has improved this year. To me, he's a guy who maybe you want to give a shot to, because, again, there were a lot of mistakes made by this defensive core, and I thought Logan Stanley made a number of mistakes throughout the course of this game. Again, it's first game of the year,
right?
But and I'm not blaming this game in the loss on Logan Stanley, because it certainly was not. But I think that there were a lot of miscues that the defensive group as a whole were making, with the exception, I thought Josh Morrissey had a good game.
Yeah, look, Josh Morrissey was, I thought, his generally his consistent self. But as we get into some, you're right. Logan Stanley, I thought, got better as the game went on. But when he was struggling earlier in the game, it was glaring, and it was more than just a little bit noticeable. His mistakes were significant. I'm a little surprised that he got the call over Declan Chisholm. I'm not surprised that Nate Schmidt was made a healthy scratch. We talked about that after Tuesday's game against the Los Angeles Kings. He just hasn't done enough as of late, despite his salary, to warrant a spot in the lineup. I was surprised they went with Logan Stanley, today. I don't know if that Logan Stanley's done anything to, to sustain his spot in the lineup if they continue to keep Nate Schmidt out of the lineup. I'd like to see Declan Chisholm. I'd like to see a guy who can skate and a guy who sort of has that, what I would describe as untapped potential. We know what Logan Stanley is at this point in time. It's not going to be changing. But not to say that was the problem with the Jets. Look, I thought Vegas, like they always are, they are opportunistic. They get what? They got 2 power play goals, take away the empty netter. That's 2 power play goals, are a significant difference in this game. And I know the Jets got 1, but it's all about the timing and everything else. And the Jets needed to find a way to get that penalty kill late in the third period. And instead, it ends up being the game-winning goal for Vegas, and then the Jets lose in regulation after scratching and clawing all the way back into this one. So lots to talk about. Why don't we get into it? We do it on each and every edition of the Illegal Curve post-game show. It's time for the Betway game recap.
The Betway game recap.
As you all know, Betway is the sports betting app that puts you, the customer, at the forefront with a large selection of betting options and sports, as well as strong promotions and fair odds. What are you waiting for? Head on over to Betway and bet your way. Must be 19 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. Can't stress that part quite enough. A good start for the Winnipeg Jets. New look Winnipeg Jets with the new forward lines after the Gabriel Velarde injury. Mason Appleton gets the bump up to play with Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele. Talk about that, of course, throughout this post-game show as well. The Jets by the Alex Iafallo, of course, is the one who gets the Jets on the board at the 1 minute and 30-second mark of the first period. Can't ask for a better start for the Winnipeg Jets on this one. Assist to Josh Morrissey, assist to Nino Niederreiter, and it's a very smart play by Josh Morrissey. And of course, we wouldn't expect anything different from him. He shoots it for Logan Thompson's far pad, and as a result, there is the rebound because Morrissey is able to see Iafallo charging hard towards the net, and he tees it up for Iafallo by virtue of how he placed the shot purposely, and Iafallo makes no mistake depositing it past Logan Thompson and giving the Jets the early 1-0 lead, Dave.
Yeah, and Alex Iafallo, nothing but a good time. A little poison for his goal song. I'm not going to complain.
I knew you were an EDM guy. I didn't realize you were an 80s glam rock guy as well.
I am. I'm a little bit of both. The 80s was, I was a big Poison fan back in the day.
Yeah.
So may have had a few air bands back at Centennial School. Shout out Centennial. But the fact is that I was always a big fan of the Poison. Not really Motley Crue as much, but Poison was a. I didn't love heavy metal or that sort of thing, but Poison was always a good one. So I'm a big fan of Alex Iafallo's goal song, and I'm a big fan of this play. I like the way Alex Iafallo plays his game in general, goes to the net. That's someone that you need on this Jets club, someone who's willing to go hard to the net, and that's exactly what he does. Stick on the ice, and he gets a chance to deposit that. And you're right, Drew. That's a great play by Josh Morris. He's not trying to score there. He's just trying to create a rebound. That's exactly what he does. And of course, it's exactly the start the crowd needed, because there was a lot of, there's a lot of angst right now amongst the Jets nation. And I think that the quick start, I think, what was it, 2 minutes and something into the game. So, or maybe even less, actually.
90 seconds, minute and a half.
Minute 30. So, yeah. I mean, I think that's exactly the kind of start the Jets wanted to see from their hockey club, and it's the kind of start they got. So it was a good play by Alex Iafallo to finish off that really nice, smart shot by Josh Morrissey.
Yeah, terrific play by the Jets, and they get an opening goal, which is really what they needed. I thought they needed to show a good, have a strong response to the disappointment and the poor effort. That's not sugarcoated, just the bad game that they played on Tuesday night against the LA Kings, and they get that early. And really, it could have been 2-0 very quickly for the Winnipeg Jets if it wasn't for Logan Thompson making just an absolute dynamite save off of Cole Perfetti. He just sticks the paddle out, and it almost looks like he's playing ping pong and just throwing his paddle up and hoping the ball would ricochet off of it. In this instance, it wasn't a ball, but it was a puck ricocheting right off the paddle of his goal stick. Otherwise, it would have been, and really probably should have been, 2-0 for the Winnipeg Jets, Dave.
Yeah, very similar to what we had just seen with Iafallo being able to deposit that puck up and over, and Cole Perfetti, the winger Cole Perfetti, not the center Cole Perfetti, the winger Cole Perfetti was not able to elevate that puck, and as a result, you're right, that didn't really, because that would have the crowd would have really gone into it. You know what I mean? Like you have a 1-0 lead is good, but if you could really get them going early, that would have been significant, I think. And they don't. And Logan Thompson, you have to give him credit. I thought he was excellent throughout the course of the game, especially obviously in that third period. He was really good for Vegas while they were being outshot like 11-0. But the fact of the matter is he made a number of really critical saves to keep his team in that hockey game in the first period.
Yeah, and he kept them in the game, and then they tied the game late in the first period. We talked about the special teams, how they've been a problem for the Winnipeg Jets. The penalty kill, which was so good for them last year, has not been that for the Jets so far this year. And Jonathan Marchessault at the 17:42 mark. So late in the first period, with Logan Stanley in the box for high sticking, again, standing out for the wrong reasons early in this game. He's in the penalty box. Marchessault makes no mistake. Assist to Chandler Stevenson and Shea Theodore. Marchessault just finds some soft ice, and the Golden Knights tee it up for him. And I was watching the replay. There's some traffic in front of Laurent Brossoit, but it's not. The traffic is not really, I don't think, impacting his view of this. I think he can see this cleanly. It's just a better shot, and Marchessault is obviously, we know how tremendous of a hockey player he is over all these years since he got to Vegas and since the Golden Knights came to fruition, and he absolutely wires it past Laurent Brossoit to tie the game up at 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mark Stone, you got to give him credit because he's taking away Laurent Brossoit's eyes just before the shot from Marchessault gets released, and he's cocked and ready to unload that shot as soon as the pass is made. So, I mean, and it was a laser beam. So, I mean, you got to give them credit. There was a little bit of gap that if you're Rasmus Kupari, you're thinking maybe try and get out there. But I mean, it's again, it's an advantage for a reason. So you credit these guys. These guys, again, they didn't win the Stanley Cup by accident, and they know how to take advantage of the man advantage. And that's exactly what they did. It was really nice movement, and it was quick movement. That's the thing. When you watch the replay, you see they're not sitting around thinking about it for a long time. They're boom, 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 boom,
right
off the stick, right passing, and then boom, it's a goal, and it's a 1-1 game.
Well, when you can set up the power play and execute it how you want it, and then that's a set play for the Golden Knights right there. That's not a scramble play. That's them executing a set play very well, tying the game at 1 after 20 minutes. Shots on goal after 20 minutes. The Jets leading by a 12-10 margin, and the Jets Golden Knights had the bulk of the possession in the first period, just a little bit over 61.5% of the possession in the opening 20 minutes of tonight's contest. Second period begins much like the first period did, with an early goal. This one for the Vegas Golden Knights, Brett Howden getting his first of the season assist to Mark Stone. So a made in Manitoba connection on this one. But you do also have to give a bit of an assist to Dylan DeMello, who just, again, was sloppy, just a bit of a comedy of errors, just bumbling, stumbling, rumbling, and it ends up behind Laurent Brossoit to give the Golden Knights a 2-1 lead. And just, again, the margin for error when you're playing a team like Vegas is so thin. Yeah, we started this post game talking about that. There's just, when you can't afford to make very many mistakes against this Golden Knights team, who are so good at capitalizing on those errors and are so good at quickly transitioning. And this is another one of them. Dylan DeMello, uncharacteristic, makes a mistake, and it ends up on Stone stick. And then he, with the very nifty sort of cross ice opportunity, setting up the tip opportunity for Brett Howden, and he makes no mistake to give the Golden Knights the lead before the first minute of the second period has concluded.
Now, I'm loath to be a blame the refs guy, but I'm gonna go with Mark Sports Video, more video refs and less refs on the ice, because to me, the refs positioning is poor in this instance at the blue line, and the puck is there. He's slow, and he actually interferes. In my mind, he interferes enough with DeMello because DeMello's trying to turn, and he's got the ref right beside him. And again, like I said, I'm not trying to be an apologist here and make excuses for the Jets, but I watched that play live in the building, and I've subsequently watched the replay, and I just don't like the way the ref is positioned, because if you're Dylan DeMello and you're trying to take control of that puck in your zone and kind of turn around and visualize what you have, even though you've got obviously pressure coming, but you can't go left. The ref is literally standing beside DeMello as he's trying to pivot and make a lateral move. So he's got nowhere to go on this play, really, and the boards are to his right. So obviously he could have pushed the puck up quickly, but there wasn't. And again, you credit Vegas for the quick attack. I think it was Mark Stone who pressured him. But again, like I said, to me, and I want to qualify it, I'm not trying to be an apologist for the Jets because I think it was a breakdown, but I don't like the positioning of the refs or the ref in this instance because I just thought he blocked DeMello's move left and really just kind of made him kind of reduced his area and space. And so, look, it's not a great play by number 2, and it's not something that you don't often see. But again, like I said, to me, it's a bit of a mistake by the officiating crew by being there, and I think he coughs it up. Josh Morrissey stuck in the middle, and like you said, Drew, it's a made in Manitoba connection, pretty easy, and not much Laurent Brossoit can do because Brent Howden, all he has to do is tap it home.
And he did that, and it was 2-1 for the Vegas Golden Knights at that point in time. They make it 3-1 a little bit later in the third period. The Jets are caught on the ice. It's too long of a shift. They get a little bit sloppy. Scheifele is just trapped on the ice. It's too long. He missed an opportunity to get off earlier. And the Golden Knights, you could just feel it coming. You could just see the Jets were struggling to find themselves in their own zone, and Vegas, were shark, and there was blood in the water. And it's Alec Martinez playing his first game of the season, and he gets his first goal of the season, assist to Wild Bill Karlsson, and Cotter also getting his second point of the season. And it's 3-1 for Vegas, and that's how the second period ended. Pardon me. No, it did not. I'm getting ahead of myself. I apologize.
I'm like, whoa, I guess Cole Perfetti's goal doesn't count to Drew.
No, it does. I was getting ahead of myself. But it's 3-1 here. And this, again, the Jets just are, again, sloppy is how I would do it. They've been very diligent so far this season, I think, in making sure their shifts were the right length of time, that they were not they were not too long on the ice, that they were not getting caught up in trying to be playing hero hockey. If you'll use that, you'll use that expression. In this case, I mean, look, I don't think any of these instances are malicious. I don't think these are, these are selfish plays per se, but they just get caught a little bit too cute. And against a team like Vegas, they're going to end up, it's going to end up costing you. And it did here with Martinez making it 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, you throw off the momentum for your team. I mean, that's the problem. There's chaos reigning, and on this play, Neil Pionk has a chance to get that puck out of the Jets zone. He doesn't. He's overpowered by I can't remember which Vegas forward overpowered Pionk on the play, but was it Haig? Maybe I think it might have been Haig, but I'm not entirely. Or no, it wasn't Haig. It was it
Karlsson?
No, it was along the wall. It was just in front. It was 43, whoever 43 is. I can't remember.
43 is that's Cotter, Paul Cotter.
Oh, it's Cotter. Okay.
Yeah.
So Cotter overpowers Neil Pionk, and he has a chance. It's 50-50 puck at that point, and they can't get it out. And then, of course, they keep the puck in the Jets zone. And yeah, Drew, you're right. It's just one of those instances. And we were watching it up in the press box, and you're watching the play develop, and you're like, these guys have been on for a long time, way too long, and you're throwing everything off, right? They were throwing off the subsequent shifts, and so, like I said, guys are standing around. It was chaos, which is a word synonymous with the Jets' defense a little bit this year. So I thought Brendan Dillon had his man, but yeah, you're right. There's a breakdown by the Jets, and it finds the back of the net, and then you're thinking, there go the pretzels, because even though they've played a fairly good game and a fairly even game. Now if you're a Winnipeg Jet or a Winnipeg Jets fan, your team is down 3-1.
Yeah, and then this in showing some heart, and we talked about the example of them showing some heart. They showed some heart in bouncing back real quick from that one, because that definitely could have been a deflating goal. Very much could have gone away from them as it did on Tuesday night against the LA Kings. But the Jets come back 23 seconds later. It's probably one of the nicest goals of the season. It's Cole Perfetti getting his first assist to Nemesnikov and Nikolai Ehlers, and it's an absolutely beautiful passing play. Ehlers with the gets the puck sort of right up around the Jets defensive blue line. An uncharacteristic turnover by Mark Stone, and Ehlers with a clean zone entry, and he finds Nemesnikov, and Nemesnikov with an absolutely nifty pass to Cole Perfetti. And if we know how good Cole Perfetti is in those in tight situations, and he makes a great move on Logan Thompson and slides it into the empty net. So a very nifty passing play, a very nice passing play from that Winnipeg Jets line, a line that was actually very good tonight, had 64% of the possession, Ehlers, Nemesnikov, and Perfetti did. So really a very good showing by that line, particularly on that play, which cut the lead from 3-1 to 3-2 with 4 minutes to go in the second period.
Yeah, and most importantly, it gives Perfetti a good feeling, and it gives him some confidence, because you knew that, I mean, regardless of what Rick Bowness told us today in the Matt Frost Media Center about how, because he was asked by, I believe Scott Billick asked him about how he had that conversation with Perfetti about moving him from center to wing. And his response was, well, he's played a lot more wing than he has center, which doesn't really answer the question, because the whole idea is like, how does a kid take that? The idea that you're going to make him the second line center. We talked about it. How we spent the whole summer talking about the Jets' second line center, which apparently is now Vlad Nemesnikov. But the fact is, for a kid who was probably like feeling a little snake bit after that, like you talked about, Drew, that glorious chance in the first period, he finishes it off, and it's a beautiful goal. And it's not just like, again, a goal is a goal and they all go in, but that's a goal that can give a player confidence because it's a skill goal. He shows off his hands, he makes a nice play, gets that puck, and he makes no mistake. And that's one of the things that you come to expect from Cole Perfetti. We saw it, whether he was in the OHL, the AHL, and now the NHL. So that's what the Jets need him to do, is put the puck in the back of the net and provide some additional scoring, because it can't obviously just be from Mark Scheifele in the top line. You need additional secondary and additional scoring from the third and fourth line, obviously. So I think it's one of those situations where, and it was important. Again, it was a momentum builder for Winnipeg, because rather than having to try and gain back 2 goals in that third period, you're now just 1, and you struck back quickly. So it's a positive from a Jets perspective, and it's a positive for getting that line going, because that line is important. I mean, look, regardless of whether Nemesnikov is the second line center or Cole Perfetti is, or whomever is, you need Nikolai Ehlers engaged. You need Cole Perfetti scoring points, and you need Vlad Nemesnikov to produce. I mean, that's
you need that line to succeed. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I mean, look, the first line is the first line, and they're going to have success. But the fact of the matter is, you need that second line to produce. You can't just be, although it looks like Alex Iafallo, like I jokingly said on Twitter, is going to be on pace for a 60-goal season this year, even though his career high was 17. But the fact of the matter is that and Joe from Winnipeg is very happy, because it was an all-Italian goal scoring group for the Winnipeg Jets. But the fact of the matter is that you needed Cole Perfetti to get going, and that's a big one for him, and it was a big one for the team at that point of the game.
And so the 3-2 for the Golden Knights after 40 minutes. And the Jets came out as gangbusters in that third period. They really did take it to the Vegas Golden Knights for the vast majority of the first 10 minutes of that period. And they just couldn't beat Logan Thompson for the longest time. I think outshooting Vegas at a point in time in that third period by an 11-2 margin.
11-0.
11-0 to start the third period for the Winnipeg Jets. You could see how hungry they were to try and get the equalizer, and a really impressive start to that third period for the Jets. And then they finally do get that equalizer. It comes on the power play. And again, we talked about Vegas scoring on their set play on the power play. Well, the Jets scored here on their set play. Alex Iafallo, his second of the game, his third of the season, assist to Mark Scheifele and Nikolai Ehlers, and it's tic-tac-toe, absolutely drawn up to perfection, executed to perfection, to tie the game at 3, this coming at the 11:32 mark of the third period. Just a beautiful passing play by the Winnipeg Jets, and they've come all the way back from that 2-goal deficit to tie it at 3 in the latter half of the third. You're on mute.
I was trying to tweet. I was trying to do things, Drew. But anyways, the point, I was trying to text you without making tons of sound for the audience. But unfortunately, I made no sound for the audience when I started to talk. So, look, I think it was a huge momentum for the Jets because you're feeling really good, but you're not getting that reward, right? You've outshot this team now. I think it was 11-0 at one point, and then it was 13-2. So you've possessed the puck and you've done everything but get that equalizer, and you feel like you get the chance, and then your power play. And again, one of the things we've talked about is special teams and how you need your special teams to be firing. The PK hasn't been so good, but you wanted your power play with all this vaunted scoring. And like you said, Drew, it was a perfectly set play. I don't need to go over it again because you just went over it. But the fact of the matter is that Alex Iafallo, again, is showing that he's got good chemistry with this team. He really shows that he mixes in well, regardless of where he is in the lineup. I mean, we joke, I think was the joke with Alex Iafallo today. No, I think it was Mason Appleton, but everybody's becoming a Swiss Army knife. You have to decide. They just have to have Nino Niederreiter decide whether they actually qualify as a Swiss Army knife. But Iafallo is the kind of guy who can really go up and down and play where you need him. And he's showing that his use on the power play for a guy who's willing to go to those hard areas and be in front of the net, that's something the Jets need. So to me, Iafallo has been a really nice addition so far, obviously just 4 games in, but 3 goals from him has to be somewhat unexpected for the Winnipeg Jets.
3 goals for him, and of course the following great honor.
The Seagram shot of the game.
That's correct. The power play goal by Alex Iafallo there is our Seagram's shot of the game for tonight's contest between the Winnipeg Jets and the Vegas Golden Knights. Big thanks to Seagram's for their continued sponsorship of the Illegal Curve post-game show. Seagram's VO, masterfully blended, distinctly Canadian. So stay tuned for Saturday night's game against the Edmonton Oilers, where we will once again, of course, do the Seagram's shot of the game. So 3-3 at this point in time. The Jets keep pushing. Obviously Vegas pushes back. The Jets keep pushing. There's what I thought a missed tripping call against Adam Lowry in the Golden Knights zone. In fact, the Golden Knights looked like they stopped playing because they were waiting for the whistle to go. There was no call made on that play. Subsequent to that, the Jets end up taking a slashing penalty. Alex Iafallo takes a slashing penalty.
Mark Scheifele, by the way, Drew, also felt like he had been missed on that. He dropped a few frick bombs, I would imagine. Yes. When he behind the net, because again, that was another instance where the Jets were pressuring Vegas hard, and you kind of thought, okay, they're gonna give the Jets that call, and they don't, and you're like, okay, well, I guess not. But yeah, you're right. The fans were a little irate, expecting some sort of call in the Jets' favor at that point.
Instead, the next call goes against the Jets. It goes with Iafallo taking a slashing penalty on a Golden Knights really good opportunity. He probably had to take the slashing penalty because it was very close to otherwise being not a power play goal, but just an even strength goal for the Golden Knights. But he's in the penalty box, and the Golden Knights power play goes to work, and the Jets penalty kill needed to come up big, and they were unable to do so. Mason Appleton sacrifices himself and blocks a real bullet of a shot, and you can see he's hobbling and he's trying to get clear the puck out of the zone, and it's not a tripping penalty in my estimation. I don't feel as though the officials missed this call. To me, Appleton is going down on his own in an effort to clear the puck. Unfortunately, he's not able to clear it, and the scramble drill is on, and the scramble drill results in Jack Eichel being set up, and he very well could have also been our Seagram shot of the game winner.
That was a beauty.
With this shot. Jack Eichel, every time you forget, he reminds you that he is really a bona fide superstar in this league, and he gets his 3rd of the young season assist to Mark Stone, assist to Shea Theodore, and the Jets, who've scrambled back and have clawed back and who've made it 4-3 are now down 4-3 again with less than 5 minutes to play, Dave.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, and you got to give again Mark Stone some credit because it was a beautiful look off, and then he feathers it over to Eichel, who's got just an absolutely lethal shot. And I mean, look, he's an all-star and he is a world-class player. So when a guy like that gets that kind of opportunity, you thought, oh, Brossoit can see it all. But again, like I said, I think he was frozen a little bit by Stone's move. And then Eichel just puts it up and over, and it's a deflating goal because from a Jets perspective, you fought back, you've tied this game, you're feeling good about yourselves, and now suddenly it's you're down by 1 with the time running out. So it's a pretty deflating feeling, I would imagine, on that Jets bench, given how they had played through the first, throughout the course of that hockey game for the most part. And now again, because of special teams, you're finding yourself in a deficit.
Yeah, it was a deficit, and the Jets were unable to crawl back in this from the 4-3 deficit. They had some opportunities again, but Logan Thompson just was really good in net for the Golden Knights.
Absolutely.
And so, everyone knows that it's, Aiden Hill's job now after the Stanley Cup run he went on. But if at any point in time Aiden Hill falters, Logan Thompson is right there and willing and able and capable for this Golden Knights team. And the Golden Knights end up getting the empty net goal. Nicholas Roy gets it, his second of the season, with just over a minute to play. Shea Theodore had a 3-point night. He gets his third assist in tonight's game on the empty net goal. The Jets, they tried hard. They played a very good third period, but just, any sort of lapse against the defending Stanley Cup champion is so hard to overcome. And the Jets were not able to overcome the few lapses that they did have in tonight's game. That's why it's much better off being the I guess in this case, the hunted rather than the hunter, when the hunted is as strong as the Golden Knights are, and the hunted are maybe using a bit of a bow and arrow against a much more lethal weapon of an animal like the Golden Knights. And as a result, they end up with a 5-3 victory over the Winnipeg Jets in downtown Winnipeg. The Jets end the homestand, winning 1 against the Florida Panthers and losing the last 2 earlier this week and tonight. And then they head to Edmonton on Saturday, a late night edition of the Illegal Curve post-game show. It's the doubleheader game on CBC, which means post-game is going to start right before midnight, if not a few minutes after midnight. So either late Saturday night or early Sunday morning, we'll be back here with the Illegal Curve post-game show after the Jets and the Oilers. But of course, Saturday morning, the Illegal Curve hockey show starts your game day like it does each and every Saturday. When we come back on the Illegal Curve post-game show, we're going to do our darndest to bring you the comment Rick bonus. From everything we can tell, the technology should be working. Will it work? Well, we'll find out after these commercial messages. Drew Mindell, Dave Manouk, we're with you on this Thursday night talking about the Jets' defeat at the hands of the Vegas Golden Knights. Don't go anywhere. Much more yet to come on the Illegal Curve postgame show.
Your coworkers love you because you always make them laugh. You're the life of the party with stories that have them rolling on the floor. Or maybe you're just the quiet one in the corner with the one-liners that just slay. Do you have what it takes to become Winnipeg's funniest person with a day job? Try your luck. Hit the stage at Rumors Comedy Club, and you could be walking away with $1,000 cash. Winnipeg's funniest person with a day job, presented by Rumors. For all the details, head to rumorscomedyclub.com.
So you're a pizza person, you married a wing person, but somehow your kids are salad people. You can't pick your fam, but you can pick your BP meal deal, starting from $18.99 for takeout or delivery at bostonpizza.com.
The game can change just like that. Accidents happen when you aren't protected. So now what? Getting to your injury quickly can make all the difference. Help prevent them from being game changers with Linden Market Dental Center. Bonding, crowns, bridges, and dental implants. State-of-the-art treatments are available to help you get back in the game. To learn more, visit lindenmarketdentalcenter.com. Creating smiles for life.
Whoa, Ezzy, everything okay? You look stressed.
Of course I'm stressed. We're moving, the house is upside down, the kids failed miserably at packing the fine china, and my life is in chaos. Chaos!
Yes, that does sound like a problem.
What am I going to do?
Ezzy, relax. Rolly's Transfer Moving and Storage is the answer. With 60 years of experience in moving Manitobans and a track record of exemplary customer service, one call to Rolly's and your stress is gone. No job is too big or too small. Just visit Rollies.com and they will take it from there.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you, Rollies Transfer Moving and Storage, online at Rollies.com.
Boston Pizza harnessed Fanalytics to test if the game is better at home or at Boston Pizza. The results are irrefutable. Catch the game at Boston Pizza, powered by Fanalytics.
Are you dreaming of your very own backyard rink this winter, but dreading the work involved? Well, stress no longer, because the Rink Guys are here to make it happen. The Rink Guys are Winnipeg's first outdoor skating rink installation and rink maintenance service. The Rink Guys offer free site evaluations and different rink construction options. Plus, they use a custom-sized liner to prevent any damage to your lawn. Lighting packages are also available to help illuminate your rink during those long, dark winter nights. To get your rink started today, visit therinkguys.com. For 3 generations and over 80 years, Tough Duck has been making apparel that works and plays as hard as the people who wear it. From jackets to work boots and everything in between, Tough Duck's clothing can handle the harshest environments, even the illegal curve hockey show. Work to live, live to play. Visit toughduck.com. $10:15 in the evening. Welcome back to the Illegal Curve post-game show. Drew Mindell, Dave Manouk with you on this Thursday night, talking about the Jets' defeat at the hands of the Vegas Golden Knights. The Jets dropped to 1-3 so far on the season. We shall see what is next in store for them when they face off against the Edmonton Oilers on Saturday night. We shall also see what is next in store for us to see if this audio will actually play properly. By all accounts, everything that I know about this, it should work. Does that mean it'll work? Well, we're about to find out. So if you don't end up hearing anything, tell us in the comments section, and I'll stop playing the audio that no one else can hear except for me. So fingers crossed, Dave M. Let's see if this is going to work tonight.
Out, Drew.
I can, for the life of me, I cannot figure out why it's not working.
Mindell. Mindell.
I can hear the audio. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm not, also, I mean, I'm not.
You know what I will say? I will say this. This shows why we need producer Timmy to be running the show. No, what are you trying again for?
I'm not trying again. I'm a stubborn individual is what it boils down to.
You are stubborn. Holy moly.
Yeah.
But you're wasting.
I
mean, look, I'll tell you this. Rob Mahoney says Drew is a good person, regardless of whether this is not working or not. But as much as so right now he's saying, look, we really tried hard, but it just wasn't good enough, And we're, gosh darn it, people like us. That's what I think he's saying. But if you want to know what Rick Bowness is saying after this broadcast is done, the good news is, even if you can't listen to it while we're on the air, you can always listen to it after, courtesy of our YouTube channel, thanks to Colby Spence. So again, we will get that fixed probably around game 82. So fear not, folks. But regardless, for game 4, it ain't working.
You're
gonna try again.
I'm so befuddled by the whole thing. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever why it's not working.
Oh, Matthew Thompson with a good idea. Turn on the captions and the chat will adapt.
We'll just read it. I'm not sure the captions would be big enough. It's a reasonable suggestion, but I, for life of me, cannot figure out why it's not working. Well, I don't think we missed much. I don't think he said anything especially insightful, as you might
Joe
imagine.
From Winnipeg, who knows a thing or two about audio, says it's your audio output. Joe, I have a question. Shouldn't Drew know this in advance of our doing a live show? But just a thought.
Look, after the show ended last on Tuesday night, you sat here with me, Dave, and we played different video, and it worked perfectly fine.
Yeah,
I did the exact same thing that I'm doing right now, and it worked perfectly fine. So for the life of me, I do not understand why it's not working again. I'm going to have to Well, I don't even know what I'm going to have to do, but I cannot figure it out. Somebody smarter than me.
I agree with Snacku. It is amateur hour.
I think that's Snuka, Dave. That's not snack.
Oh, I read. Well, I'm hungry. I want some snacks, so I was. I read it the way I want to read it.
Well, whatever it is, I for the life of me cannot figure this one out because it's I don't know. It's going to keep me up at night for at least an extra 2 or 3 minutes. I can promise you, for a couple minutes, it's going to keep me up at night, and as I'm trying to figure out why it didn't work yet again, I'll have to explore that and everything else, and spend hours and hours and hours working on that. Let me ask you this:
Yes.
now that we haven't had a chance to hear from Rick Bonus,
Eric, by the way, is right. I do need it. I could use that. Oh, never mind.
Dave always could use a pizza. There's no question about that.
There we go.
Let me ask you about your thoughts on Mason Appleton playing up with Scheifele and Connor, because when that was the move that was made, I guess initially at practice yesterday, and then assuming that Appleton was good to go for tonight, I thought it was peculiar. I would have much rather had seen Nino Niederreiter move up into that role.
Yeah,
Mason Appleton to me is not a guy who. I just don't see any offensive upside from him at this point of his career. He can do a lot of the little things well. He can do some, he can go dig in the corners, and he's decent at puck retrievals and things of that. But to me, he screams third line sort of role rather than playing with Connor and Scheifele. I don't see how he benefits the Connor and Scheifele line.
Well, I will go. I'm not lobbying for Mason Appleton to be moved to the fourth line, but I would for this reason and this reason alone. And I was wondering if anyone else caught this. And it really what kind of triggered this thought in my head, if you'll indulge me, Drew, is the fact that Sarah Orlesky was chatting with our former good friends.
The GST lines.
We did November with them. Was the GST line, which is of course Glass, Slater, and Thorburn, 15, 19, and 22. Well, the Jets have on their fourth line a 15, a 19. Have you moved Mason Appleton back to that fourth line? We've suddenly got the GST 2.0. Of course, not the names. They don't work. I was trying to work out some sort of saying for their names. But regardless, I just thought it was funny how the numbers worked out to get that GST line back in full force. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I actually thought Nino Niederreiter would have made a lot of sense. Yeah. Rick Bonus essentially said that Scheifele and Connor he made it sound like they asked to play with Appleton because they like having a right shot. And Appleton is a guy who can use his size and try and retrieve the pucks and be that digger for those guys and get that puck for them and retrieve it and get it to them so they can do what they do best, which is, of course, shoot it and pass and regard all those other things. But I mean, to me, I would like Nino Niederreiter. I think he's capable of doing quite a bit. And I think he's, I don't want to say wasted on that third line, but I'm not entirely certain what you're doing there. Again, you know that Iafallo can put the puck in the back of the net.
Yeah.
I like Niederreiter on that third line on the first line, with Scheifele and Connor. And then you go Appleton, because Appleton plays well with Lowry anyways, and Iafallo can play well with anyone really. So that's actually still a pretty effective third line. But I think Niederreiter is better served in a offensive position than he is playing as a kind of straight defensive forward.
Yeah, Niederreiter at least has offensive upside and has a history of performing well in an offensive role. Like this is a guy that you expect to get. He's been relatively consistent being a 20 goal scorer. So to me, I understand the concept of the right shot, and I have time for that argument and everything else. But I just think that Appleton, I mean, look, the possession numbers for that first line tonight were way down from where they were with Gabe Vilardi.
No surprise.
Only Jets, no, they were. Of the four sort of regular Jets lines, they were the only one that had a negative on the possession side of things, just a bit under 39%. And yes, they were going to be playing some tougher matchups and everything else, but Connor, Scheifele, and Vilardi were fairly dominant in the limited time that we saw them together before Vilardi got injured early on Tuesday night. In those first two games, they were fairly dominant. I just don't see Appleton doing enough to contribute to that line offensively. And whereas Niederreiter, look, I think he's a guy who can do a lot of good things with Connor and with Scheifele, even if it's just going hard to the net constantly. That he's going to be you're going to have to pay more attention to him than you are Mason Appleton. He's just limited offensively. I mean, in all the years that we've watched Mason Appleton play for the Winnipeg Jets, and I'm not trying to be insulting here, but how many games has he played that he's really stood out? Really, the one that comes to mind is that game in Colorado early last year, where I think that was probably one of his better games as a member of the Winnipeg Jets. But so to me, I'd be curious to see how long that line stays together, because I think they need more from a third line mate than what Mason Appleton is really bringing to the table.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can talk about the right shot all you want, and that's great. But again, if you're not producing, and it's not like it's been 17 games, but the Jets are in a bit of a funk, or you've got a 1-3 record, and you have a tough game against an Edmonton team on Saturday that's going to be just as pissed off as you are, right? They are also, I believe, 1-3 on the season. So you don't really have the luxury of, waiting. And look, you didn't give Cole Perfetti a ton of time up the middle, right? After 3
really
games,
did not. I'm surprised they made that move as quickly as they did.
Right. So you were quick to fire that one and say, okay, well, we're going to adjust the lines based on that. To me, and we'll see, the Jets are set to practice tomorrow at noon. We'll see who they're going to recall from the Moose. They haven't made that announcement yet, so we anticipate that they'll do it tomorrow morning. The Moose are on the ice at 10 o'clock a.m. at the Hockey for All Center, because they're playing the Iowa Wild, which, Drew, you might want to queue up a Manuk Moose Minute for a second, if you will.
Hang on.
Put on your antlers. It's time for the Manuk Moose Minute on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show.
Now, I don't have anything really super insightful to talk about, other than I can give you a little update on Simon Lundmark, who was hit by. I know you're going to say
we've been 52 minutes into the show without anything insightful. So why should now be any different?
Well, I'm proud of you, Drew. That was an opportunity for an individual burn, but you made it. You showed that Illegal Curve is a partnership. We're a team here, so you burnt both of us. I appreciate that.
That's what I'm doing.
Anywho,
for you.
So what we'll do is what I was going to say is that the only real update was that Simon Lundmark wasn't on the ice yesterday for the Moose. I was at the practice before the Jets practice, and he had been hit with a shot, so he was day to day, according to head coach Mark Morrison. We're still waiting to see what they're going to do with Dmitry Kuzmin, who's a very talented. You want to talk about guys who can get the puck up, and that's one of the things that the Moose, when you lose Chisholm, Gavanke, and Heinola, that's one of the things that this team has struggled with a little bit, is firing the puck from the D up to the forwards. But they managed to, like I said, split their series with Calgary, and they've got an upcoming series with the Iowa Wild, which we have tickets for. So there's tickets for the Friday game. There's tickets for the Saturday game. If you want to see Brett Lambert looking really good up the middle, not good enough that you're going to call him up, and I don't think he'll be the recall. I don't think Chaz Lucius will be the recall. I don't think Nikita Chibrikov will be the recall, or Danny Zhilkin, which means that you
the recall?
No, I'm not. I suspect it'll either be Dominic Toninato, who was one of the guys named the alternate captain today, as was CJ Cease and Ashton Sautner from Ezzy's dad's hometown of Flin Flon. But the fact is that I think, my suspicion is it'll be Toninato or Axel Jonsson-Fjällby.
Right.
I don't think it'll be Parker Ford either, but we'll see. I did talk to Parker Ford, so if you want to watch that interview, that was on our YouTube channel, so you can watch me chatting with him, and he talked about his training camp and the confidence he's feeling this year around, also the inclusivity of the Moose and how he feels more comfortable. And that is one of the benefits that we see when guys join the teams late in the season, as their college seasons are ending, or if they're coming from overseas, or junior, of course, that even if they don't even get into games, he played 13, but even if you don't get into games, you get more comfortable with the team. So somehow I turned this into a Manuk Moose Minute. I don't know how I did that, Drew, or minutes at this point.
I'm not surprised in the least bit. So, but basically the way it works is, if you want to go to Friday's game, send you an email.
Send me an email, dave@illegalcurve.com. I was going to say slide into my DMs, but I think that Elon has removed that ability, unless we've already had some sort of chit chat. I don't think you can DM anymore. You can't DM either DM, unfortunately, unless you can still send sometimes. I don't know. So if you can send me a message, send me a message on
me the other day.
What?
The winner of the maybe it was from the guy the guy who won the
I'm
Tough
just saying,
Duck,
I'm telling you, Drew, I'm speaking from experience because
Yeah.
when I offered the tickets last time on Twitter and I said, just send me a DM, a bunch of people were like, we can't send you DMs. So regardless of that, if you want to go to the game, Dave at illegalcurve.com, you can sit in the IC zone and watch all the prospects of tomorrow.
Well done. That was impressive. Let's wrap this up. Tough Duck hardest hitting comment for tonight's loss. Jets lose to the Vegas Golden Knights.
The Tough Duck hardest hitting comment.
Let's give the comment to SJPSB. Okay, it's a mouthful of a name.
Why are you saying S? Isn't that a 7?
Sorry, 7. You're right. 7JP7B. You're right. I got a little dozy there, a little drowsy there.
Are my eyes going bad or what's going on here? Because I've seen 7s.
7 starts with S.
7.
7JP7B. Forgive me for being optimistic, but I think the Jets are better than their 1-3 record. She/she/
Also, that
they.
doesn't say 1-3. Just for the people who are listening on the podcast, Drew is adding that in to 7JP7B's comment. Just so you know.
Yes. He, she, they are very impressed with Alex Iafallo. I think the Jets are slowly building chemistry with this new group. They will turn it around. So that is tonight's Tough Duck hardest hitting comment. So 7JP7B, if you can slide into DMs still, you can test out if you can do so at IC Drew. If that does not work, feel free to send Drew at illegalcurve.com an email, and I will get you hooked up with your toque, courtesy of our friends at Tough Duck, a longtime sponsor of this here Illegal Curve post-game show. So congratulations, 7JP7B. Everyone stay tuned for Saturday night's post-game show, your next opportunity to win from us at Illegal Curve and our friends at Tough Duck. The Jets will be looking for a win on Saturday night. We'll bring you the latest on the Illegal Curve post-game show late night Saturday / early Sunday. But
Drew, there was an observation that someone noted that the one game the Jets have won, you weren't there.
I wasn't there. I have a party on Saturday. I don't have a gala, but I will be back for the post-game show following the party. So unfortunately, it's not a gala. It's not a frou-frou. It's not an overwhelming banquet or anything along those lines.
The other subject of conversation was your pajamas / t-shirt.
This is just a t-shirt. This isn't my pajamas. I can assure you folks, none of you want to see what I wear when it's bedtime. Yeah, because I don't need to go any further with that comment. This is just a legitimate
family show, Drew. Please remember that.
That's
Speaking of family, hold on. Speaking of family, and hopefully the intern's sleeping because it's past her bedtime. But I will say shout out to the intern who delivered the Girl Scout cookies to my office. So I was handing out boxes. I was the most popular guy in the office because I'm like, I can't eat all these Girl Guide cookies.
Yeah,
here you go.
I took some to the office as well. I got those on the weekend. Unfortunately, I didn't get an opportunity to see Bailey. She dropped them off in the mailbox, and I had the money waiting for her. I was not home, but as always, we love to support those who support us. And Bailey, of course, one of our number one supporters. So when she says I got Girl Guide cookies, we say how many boxes can?
How many did you buy?
I bought 3 boxes this time. I
bought 6.
Well, look at you you usurping me, but I don't have Manuk money. That's the difference. I got Mindell money. I don't have Manuk money. And Ezzy would have bought some as well, but his doctor said he's not allowed to.
No,
that's what happened there. Ezzy's under the weather tonight, by the way, in case anybody was asking where he is. But
we did have a few folks ask.
Yeah, he's under the weather. Is the scenario?
Which is odd because the weather's gorgeous right now.
Yeah, but he's under it. Maybe he's outside enjoying it. Maybe he's lying down. Maybe it's something like, the weather. He's trying to burrow into the ground or something to be under the weather. Nonetheless, Saturday night, we'll be back with the Illegal Curve postgame show. Saturday morning, the Illegal Curve hockey show. Want to say a big thank you to Betway, Seagram's, all the great sponsors of the postgame show, our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club, Linden Market Dental Center, Zappia Group Realty, Tough Duck, Boston Pizza, Seagram's, Rolly's Transfer, and the Rink Guys. All of these fine companies are sponsors of this show. They make this show possible. Support them because of their continued support of Illegal Curve Hockey. So we will see everybody back here Saturday morning. We'll see everybody back here Saturday night. In the meantime, you keep it locked to illegalcurve.com. You can keep it locked to our YouTube channel and all of our social media for the latest Winnipeg Jets news and audio. Of course, Manitoba Moose news and audio. If you want to go to tomorrow night's Moose game, send Dave an email, dave@illegalcurve.com. If you haven't already done so, smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave us feedback here, there, and everywhere. Always want to hear what you have to say about this fine broadcast, kindly ignoring our continued inability to get the coach's audio, which we will get by the 2025-26 season. No questions about that. That's the benchmark that we have. That is the stick-to-itiveness and the time frame commitment that we make to you good folks. In any event, we'll see everybody back on Saturday morning. Thanks for watching. For Dave Manouk, I'm your host, Drew Mandel. This has been the Illegal Curve post-game show.